Welcome to Rock Your Talk with Leisa Reid. I am Leisa Reid, and I'm the founder of Get Speaking Gigs Now, where I teach people how to get booked, stay booked, and attract their clients through speaking. And I'm also a trainer and speaker for Productive Learning, an amazing personal development company where we help people really increase their own self-discovery skills so that they can go and get more of what they want and have really cool experiences of their own life. And I'm here today with my honored guest, Wanda Allen, who's one of my favorite speakers and one of my favorite, just favorite people all around. So welcome to the show, Wanda. We're so glad to have you on.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and I know you're going to share some follow-up stuff because you are the founder of follow-ups to sales strategies, follow-up stuff. You like how formal that is. Very, very, very official over here at Rock Your Talk. Tell us a little bit about you, Wanda.
Oh, well, as you mentioned, I'm Wanda Allen, and my company's follow-up sales strategies. And follow-up is an area that just in general people really struggle with. And I had a corporate career for 25 years, and the position that I held, it was really necessary for me to develop a strong skill for creating systems. And after working in that role for about 15 years, I took a position as branch manager, which put me into sales. And when I realized how critical follow-up is to the entire sales process, to every single stage, I took my strong skill of creating systems and applied it to the follow-up process and also the staying in touch process, because that's an extension of following up. And then when I left I was a business banker. When I left the banking world, I decided to, through encouragement from a friend, to share what I do because it's just something that came easy to me because of the systems. And so I spoke on follow-up and learned really quickly that in general, people really struggle in this area. And therein lies the creation of my business.
Yeah, I think it's when it's so cool when you find something that comes fairly easy to you or naturally to you and you're really good at it, and then you realize, oh, I guess not everybody's good at this. Maybe there's
Yes.
something to this. And especially because I've seen you speak, I've taken your workshops and see how amazing you are. That not, and I get it, not everyone has that, whatever you call organizational gene yet. Yet if we're in business, there's a part of our business practices that need to buy into that and go like, okay, you know what, well, what I like about you is that you help your clients really find what works for them instead of just like everyone has to do it this way. You're very like, okay, let's find a way that works for that
Yes.
person. And I think that's what people don't realize is available. They think, oh, it means I'm going to have to do this thing that I don't want to do. But when they realize that they can do it and it can be fun, or it could be easy, or it can, really alleviate a lot of their headaches, then it's a game changer.
Yes. Yeah. And you had mentioned the word unorganized. And the more unorganized somebody is, the more critical it is that they implement some systems that will just make business so much easier and keep them on track. And we all need that. We
Yeah,
all need to be kept on track.
totally.
Yeah.
We totally do. I love it. And I
Yeah.
know you've got some tips you're going to share with us on building a solid follow-up foundation. So even if you're listening out there and you're like, oh man, I got a big old stack of these cards, and oh, I haven't, someone said they wanted to hear from me and I never called them, or whatever. Like, these are things that are occurring to you as you're realizing, yeah, I should probably do this follow-up. Then you're in for a treat right now, because Wanda's going to share some basic things to get started, I'm assuming. So tell us about your first tip for building a
Okay.
solid follow-up foundation.
Yes, the first tip is you got to have the right mindset towards your follow-up work. And this is critical because we make situations so much worse with our own thinking. And we can be our thinking can be what's really in the way, not the follow-up work, but the way we're approaching it, the way we're thinking about it. And it's a real heavy to do for a lot of people. And my goal is just to lighten that load, because it's just a mental load. There's a lot of fears around follow-up, which is a big reason why people don't do it. And we've got to be bigger than that fear and understanding. I'm sure your listeners have all heard the adage, the fortune's in the follow-up, and which is so true. If that's where the money is, common sense would just lead you there very willingly. But it's the mindset, our thinking, that stops us from getting there. You know, some of the common fears are fear of being told no, you know, the fear of rejection, and just understanding no's part of the sales process. And no is actually good. No is not where the pain is. The pain is in the ignore. You know, when we're following up, we want a yes or a no. Of course, we want the yes, but trust me, I'll take a no any day of the week over an ignore. Fear of being pushy. I hear that one a lot. You know, people tend to have this pushy salesperson in their mind that they don't want to be. So they go so far to the opposite end of the spectrum to make sure they're not that person, and they end up taking very little, if any, action at all.
Yeah.
And that's not good either. And then you just have to be willing to be uncomfortable, because if you're not getting your follow-up work done on a regular basis, it is uncomfortable, but just in the beginning. But be willing to get uncomfortable, because if you're not, your growth, you're done growing. And so a lot of this is common knowledge, basic knowledge, but it's not very commonly practiced.
Well, and I think too, it's easy to ignore that or push any of those things aside or procrastinate on, because there's not necessarily, if you're a business owner or entrepreneur, you might not have anybody keeping you in check, right? Like it's kind of like you're your best employee and your worst employee all in one. So
Yeah.
you do the things that you're good at, and you do the things that you like doing, and the other stuff you kind of put it aside.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think that's where having someone like you get to know the person and be able to ask questions and like, okay, what would this work for me? Would this work for my business, my personality? And I know it's kind of like getting your insurance checked, or your, like, it's like the thing where you're like, I know I need to do this, and I know it's going to be really good for me, but figuring it out on your own can be
Yes.
the biggest block. So, and understanding where your the mindset part is a factor would be huge too.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. What's your second tip?
Second tip is you must use a CRM. It's got to be a non-negotiable. It stands for Customer Relationship Manager. And if you don't know what it is, it's basically a computer program where you keep your contact and follow-up information. This is so critical, because if you're not using a CRM, you're doing what I call slipping and sliding throughout the day. And business, there's just too much business lost, too many opportunities that go by the wayside. Relationships get neglected, because trying to operate without a CRM, there's no system out there that is as efficient as a CRM. So some of the inefficient systems, spiral notebook on your desk, a lot of people use this, sticky notes, email, cell phone, Excel, your memory bank. These are just, that is breeding ground for stress.
Yeah.
And business is stressful on its own. It's got its own inherent stressors, especially sales. And you're just compounding it 100-fold by not using a CRM. You know, I always say a CRM will change your life, and that just sounds so dramatic, but it is 100% true, because it's going to change your sales.
Agreed.
And when your sales change, more business comes in. That changes your life. It's a game changer. And so it just pains me to see people working so hard and discouraged and frustrated. And I'm telling you, a CRM will improve, is such a professional development improvement strategy to
agreed. And I, had the pleasure of being in sales for many, many years, and anyone who's have your own business, you're in sales too, whether you know it or not, you are.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of raised on CRMs, if you will. Thank goodness.
Mhm.
So now if I have something, I'm like, wait a second, how am I going to keep track of all these people? Like, I need to know
Yeah.
where they're at, because I know I will not remember as much as I want to. I will, like, out of sight, out of mind. And I also like the freedom of being able to let my mind, like, okay, like, oh, you know what? I've put a note in my calendar for whatever, a week or 2 weeks or a month, to follow up with that person, or to get that person what's needed. I don't need to, like, worry about waking up in the middle of the night going, oh my gosh, did I, or,
Mhm.
trying to have fun with my family and then or like kind of secretly worried about if I've dropped a ball. It's like, it's already all taken care of. It's like, it's in there. And even now with, gosh, I was using CRMs. I mean, before I had a CRM, I was using a CRM. I don't know if I ever told you, Wanda. I started as a Mary Kay sales consultant. Did I ever tell you that?
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no.
when I was in college, and I had my little index box of
Uh-huh.
my clients, and I would put them in, like, it was like 1 through 30. So I'd be like, oh, on the 2nd of the month, I need to call this person. I'd put them in my little, little on whatever day that was. But
It was called a tickler system.
there we go. But
Yeah.
I will say, even then, I had gone to a convention and I bought a software, a Mary Kay driven. It wasn't. It was a vendor of Mary Kay, but it was a software that held all my clients. And I was like 19 years old. I was like, this is great. Had their address and whatever they ordered, and I had my inventory and all that stuff in there, and it would help me know when to call them. So I'm a believer, and
Yeah.
it's so hard to do. If you're even Excel, you think, oh, it's all in there, but it's not even
No.
the same, not even the same ballpark. And there's so many options. So again, I
No.
love that you help people figure out, well, which one do I try? How much robustness do I need? Or, what are
Yeah.
my intricate things that you can, you can get someone like Wanda to help you figure out where to go, what's important, how would I use one, why would I want to do this?
Yeah, and you said, I always say, once it's a habit. That's all it is. That's all a CRM is. It's a habit. Once you develop the habit, you will never not use one. And you just said that. How do you function efficiently without a CRM in place? And it's like it's insurance for your business.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. We insure our house, our lives, our cars. We need to insure our business, and one of the ways you do that is by having a CRM, because nothing's going to get lost.
Right.
And that in itself reduces your stress level, and it clears your head. And you said, you can be more present when you're with your family. When you're sleeping, you're not going to get that 3 o'clock, oh my gosh, 3 o'clock a.m., oh my gosh, I forgot to do that.
Yeah.
And it just, like I said, it's breeding ground for success. I'm sorry, for stress. And we want to get away from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything you could do to lower that anxiety, I'm all about that. And I'm like I'm on the anxiety police, always looking for something. Oh, see, my dog must have heard me. All right. So then you have a third tip. What's your third tip?
The third tip is you've got to make follow-up a priority. This just sounds like such common sense, but again, it's not very common, because so many people, they don't spend their days on their priorities. They spend their days on comfortable, busy work. And then that important work, which is priority work, doesn't get done, and they go home with it, and it weighs on them. And then they try to sleep with that, and then they get back up and go to their busy, comfortable work. Got to make follow-up a priority. The number one reason why people tell me they can't get their follow-up work done is because they don't have the time. They're just too busy. And I never, ever believe it, because it's not about the time. We've got, there's such a blame game going on, blaming everything on the time. I don't have time, too busy, I'm in a hurry, I gotta go. That's not going to bode well for the growth of your sales. And you want to get your priorities done before you do anything else. That is also a willingness to be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I want your listeners to be more committed to the growth of their sales than they are to their comfort zone. And doing busy, comfortable work. So, I beg everybody that I talk to on the subject, please do not fill your days with busy, low level, low priority work, because
Right.
it's not going to be good.
Well, and I even say, like, there's a tipping point in that, a small business owner would need to address, is when is it okay to start bringing on help or support? And a lot of times we tend to, or the things that I hear is that, like, we'll take it all on, like, oh, that's one more thing I have to do. And I'll tell my clients when I'm coaching the speakers, I'm like, listen, I'm going to tell you what's going to help, but I'm not saying that you have to do that. It just needs to be done. I don't care who does it. Like, we just need to, like, carve out a plan or a strategy to get it done. And same with follow-up. Like, I can imagine if you haven't been having a clear system, it is going to be a big mountain, because you're like, oh, you've been putting it off for so long. You are going to have a big task. But if you set up a system that tackles it on the regular, kind of like your bookkeeping. Like, if you wait till the end of the year to do all your bookkeeping, you're going to have a really big mountain in front of you. But if you chip away a little bit by little bit, you just have it trickling in, it's really easy.
Yeah.
And profitable.
Yes. And it's what happens is, when you make follow-up a priority, when you make your important work a priority, guess what? You're going to have more time. You're going to be shocked, because you are getting the important work done, and it's the low priority work that doesn't get done. It's not a stressor at all. And if it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done. So you don't have that pressure of, I don't have the time, though.
Right.
That will have a tendency to go away, which is counterintuitive, but it's very, very powerful.
Yeah. I love that. You got it. You're right. I hope that signal is a good signal for everybody. I'm realizing now, maybe it's not, but in my book, it means A-okay, like, good job qualifying that just in case. How would people get a hold of you, Wanda?
Okay. My number is 858-382-1952. My website is followupsalesstrategies.com. And my email is wanda@followupsalesstrategies.com.
And they can get if they go onto your website, I believe they can get a free guidebook. Is that correct?
Yes. 7 follow-up strategies to close more sales.
There you go. Well, I mean, who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
You got to have that.
Yeah.
So go ahead and grab Wanda's free guidebook, or set up a call with her. If you're, like, knowing that if we're speaking to you, you're like, oh my gosh, there's a reason I heard this today. I got to get this done. 2020 is halfway over. Not going to stop. Like, you want more sales, then you're going to want to reach out to Wanda. Also, you'll want to subscribe to this show so that you can be alerted of any other news channels or new shows that we have coming out. We have a lot coming out in the future, so you're going to want to grab that, so you get tips from experts all over. And Wanda, I just want to say thank you for being on our show, because I learned something every single time you talk. I'm like, oh, I'll learn something new, and am more committed to my follow-up system. You make me a better follow-upper. So
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you too.
What would Wanda do, right? That's what we got to do. All right.
Triple WD.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Take care, everybody. Okay. Leisa Reid, Rock Your Talk here, and I will see you next time. Remember to be kind to yourself and to somebody else.